Now, normally what people do when they come into Final Cut is they're going to go ahead, if you look right here, you can sort of scroll, let me mute it, through and see the movement and see the clip and do all that. And then you can choose and select from there what you want to drag onto the timeline. That's how normal folks do it, some folks. We don't do it that way. What we actually do is, we select all. I'm going to make this the whole clip. I select every single clip that I took. Okay, so all the way down the line. And I drag every single clip onto the timeline. I know, it's horrifying and shocking and so not how it's done. But this is how I do it. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now you have, if you push Command minus on a Mac, you'll decrease the size of the clips here, but the whole clip is just smaller. It's like zooming in and out. So now they're all here and they're all selected. Okay, so again, it's not normally how it's done. You can do it another way by going through and rejecting clips as you see fit, but I don't reject anything at first. I take it all onto the timeline. And the second thing I do is when I'm here on the timeline is I select it all again and I go to clip and I detach the audio. You don't have to detach the audio, but we like to because we hardly ever have audio from the session on the final thing. It's just music. So I've taken the clip here, I took off the audio, and now you'll see that under the blue video segments, there are green audio segments, and they all line up to the video. So green is audio, you can see the waves here. Blue is video. But since we don't use the audio, we're going to select all of it and delete it by just pushing delete. Okay, next. So now we have our entire video session complete on our timeline with no audio. And we're not going to put audio on again either until we've made our initial cuts. And funny that we should mention that, but now is the time to make initial cuts. So what I'm going to do, there are a few keystrokes you need to know. If you push B, your cursor is going to turn into a razor blade. And the razor blade is going to let you cut and trim and all that stuff to your clip. So let's say if I want to make this clip half as long, I'm just going to push B, which makes my razor blade appear, and cut right there. And now you'll see I've got two segments instead of one. I'm going to undo that. And then if I push A, then I go back to my regular selecting cursor. So B for cut, A for cursor. And if you choose this drop down arrow, it'll tell you all the other choices you can do. But generally I just use the select cursor and the blade for cutting. Alright, now remember our goal here. Eventually, we want you to be able to make a video in an hour or less. And my goal is actually a half hour or less. I know it sounds crazy, but it's definitely doable. I do it often. And the point is that if you painstakingly agonize over every single cut and every single clip and every single segment, you're going to waste time. And I want you to not waste time. I want you to know before you even practice that you can make a darling, adorable video by being efficient. And this is how to do it. So I'm going to take my cursor and I'm going to put it at the beginning of the first clip. I'm going to push the space bar to play the clip. Okay. So even though this window is pretty small, it's big enough for what I'm doing, which is just cutting. So I'm going to move between the B key and the A key over and over and over as I cut. So I see that there's some shake, so I'm going to stop as soon as the shake ends, because I'm getting ready. Okay, it looks like it's about to end. It's going out of focus. Okay, I'm going to cut here. Now, select the part at the beginning where it's shaky or blurry or not usable and delete. Alright, so now I've just taken out that much clip. If I push spacebar again, I'll see the clip I've ended up with. And I can see I've still ended up with parts that are shaky. I'm going to push spacebar now because that's when the shake ends. I'm going to cut, I'm going to select, and delete. So now see here how little that clip is? It's okay. It's 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 3 seconds long, and that's perfect. Here comes the next clip. Push spacebar to play it. Here they start walking, so I'm going to make a cut because the part where they're just standing there looking at each other is not usable. Delete it. Press play again. And they're walking, and the light is perfect, and the camera is steady, and they stopped walking, so I'm not going to want that. I'm going to cut the end off. Cut, keep going. Alright, you've got houses in the background, not too wild about that, so I'm going to go until I see less houses, which is here. Cut, highlight, delete, go. Okay, that's not a very good clip. I'm going to cut that whole clip out. Next. So I'm just going through 3 things. Spacebar to play, B to make my trim, and A to select again. And you want to go back to A because you have to select the clip that you're going to delete. There we go. Okay, this is pretty steady. This clip has been going for about 5 seconds now. It's probably a good time to stop. Cut and delete. Now, if later I make a mistake and I realize, oh, you know what, I really do want that clip to be longer or shorter, and now I've deleted it, it's gone. The great thing is that when you hover your mouse over a corner, the upper corners of a clip, it will make this trim symbol automatically, and you can drag to the left or right, make it longer or shorter, and get that footage back. It's not truly deleted, it's just clipped in your vision. So if I want to bring back some of that, I'm going to make that cursor show up and drag it all back. It's really cool. Alright, so that's don't panic if you cut too much, or later when you're putting it to music, you feel like you cut too much or too little. Alright, I'm going to keep going. Another clip, it's steady, looking good. He's coming all the way, so I'm probably going to use this whole clip. Keep going. Okay, now we're getting into a segment where there's going to be different activities. And when there's different activities, like first they were looking at each other, holding hands, now they're hugging, in a minute they're going to be kissing. And I know that because I was there. I'm going to make that into 3 separate clips most likely. So I'm going to start back at the beginning of this one. Push play. Okay, they're looking at me, really adorable. Stop. Cut. Play. Alright, I changed, that was too bouncy. So I'm going to cut out the bouncy part. Cut. Select tool, play. Then a dog came running at us. And it's totally shaky because I'm trying to get rid of the dog. Now they're hugging again. Cut. Play. Okay, cut. And play. That one's good as is. This clip is no good, it's shaky, I'm not really sure what's going on. Select it, cut it, move on. This clip is cute. It's been maybe, oh, there's a zoom. I'm not going to want a zoom in our video, so I'm going to cut that. Play. Make brief, digestible segments. Cut. Right before she kneels down. Play. Okay, she's back. Some zooming. And cut. That part's going to be deleted. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm just going through, letting it play, deciding what's too shaky, what's not, and I'm cutting, and I'm deleting. Sometimes I'm going back to watch it again, see what happened. All right, so, and then the great thing is when you're on the blade tool, you can scroll through and say, okay, this is where it became not so shaky. She's having a great time. She's looking cute. Cut. And then I'm going to cut these two ends off of that clip. And you just do that the whole way through. Let's skip ahead a little bit to a pen. Here's a pen. All right. Stop. Cut. Now, what I'm doing is I'm making the pan start where I think it's going to want to start. Go. Panning. I like to stop the pan here. So I'm going to cut and play and stop because the next pan is starting. Delete that and play funny faces. And stop and cut. Cut the very end off that loaf of bread there. And remember, if you cut too much off, you can always get it back. If the clip segment, like right here, you can barely see that clip segment, that's so hard to say, clip segment that I need to cut, and I can push Command plus to zoom in, and now it's a lot bigger. Play. Good. In this one, you can see me adjusting the exposure. She's fooling with the suspenders. This clip is not usable. Highlight, delete, move on. This clip is not usable. She's fiddling with her clothes. Could have been a good moment, but they just couldn't get it together and I wasn't talking. So I'm going to delete. Moving on. This is a good clip. I like this. It's not too shaky. The light is gorgeous. Keep. Alright, so here is a good example. I like this little boy and how he's looking, but I don't want it to be the same clip as when they start walking. So I'm going to play, return, stop, and cut. Make it its own segment. Play, stop. This is going to be a new segment, so I'm going to get rid of that middle, delete, and the next part's going to start here. And you don't want too long of clips. This has now gone over 5 seconds. Stop, cut, delete the rest. Don't even look at the rest. You don't need to look at it. They're just walking, and you already have a nice walking segment. Delete it. Move on. Ooh, I love it. Kicking trash. Too jumpy. Delete. So that's how you do it. You go through the entire timeline, just deleting, 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 highlighting, blading, etc. until you get to the end. And what you have is a finished cut video. Okay, that's no good. Alright, so let's pretend I've cut the whole video. Hopefully that has taken me not more than 10 minutes. Now you have bite-sized clips that are essential. What's inside of them is essential. There's no extra fluff. There's no awkward beginnings or endings. It's just the good stuff. And so what you want to do now is add the music. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.